Hello all, welcome back to my channel. So it's been a long time since I made a video, and today is the day. So I was reading through the newspapers and stuff, and I found a very interesting article, and because of which it prompted me to explain few terms and few acts which actually comes under this this setup. So let's get started. But before I get started, I wanted to clear out few things which was happening in my channel, and I thought I will make this video and let them all know that yes, there I am seeing all your messages, and I know that many of you have got a lot of queries regarding the legality of property which has been purchased, or what it is and everything. Yes, that those questions are like situation based, and having a uniform measurement and explaining terms is going to be very difficult. So in that case, what I would really suggest is, instead of waiting for me to make a video, you can actually get your properties checked by a practitioner, law practitioner, and or an advocate, and see if whatever property you are going to buy, is it safe or not safe. So I think that's the best way to go. And when I'm saying legal documents checking, it's a long process. You really cannot, there is no like one certificate you just check and you make a decision. No, there are many things which has to be checked. A lot of controls and lot of acts have to be gone through that particular property, and it's a big tedious process, and it cannot be not just me. In fact, if you ask any advocate, they will not be able to give you one line answer or one line statement which acts like a measurement whether the property is good or not. Okay, so A khata, B khata and revenue side, yes, they are all very good indicators of whether the property is legible or not. But there are multiple other things also which needs to be considered. Okay, so that is something which an advocate will be able to help you, and I don't want to misguide you by saying only one thing or second thing. I don't want to do that. Okay, so but I have seen requests of making so many video, you want more clarification, more information about particular act or particular arena of business. Yes, I will definitely get into it, but it's just that I've been swamped with a lot of work on the personal side and professional side, because of which I haven't been able to get to that. But definitely I will be eventually getting into it. So today the topic is strictly going to be about two like juxtaposition of law. One is habeas corpus, that's a writ, which is basically our constitutional remedy. It's our right basically. And the second one is going to be the Gundas Act. Okay, first let me explain what is habeas corpus. Okay, corpus, you mean it's like a Latin term. Okay, so you might have heard like Peace Corps and all those things. P is silent there when CORP. So what is that? It's basically, it means body. Okay, habeas means where is it. So habeas corpus is basically a writ which can be filed by any person, where you're demanding the court to find the person, the missing person. So this is also a very good remedy, especially when there has been illegal detention. So this right has big history. Habeas corpus is very famous, and it's this constitutional right is upheld by Supreme Court, and they are the ultimate guarantor of our rights. So it's been upheld by Supreme Court, and you can definitely approach the apex courts, high courts or Supreme Courts, and with this writ. Okay, so it really means that if there is any person who is illegally detained, or they have arrested somebody without a proper procedure, properly, like there's a protocol for arrest, right? If they have not followed that proper protocol, then you file this writ asking the court where is the person. So basically this writ gained a lot of importance, especially in the history when we had a lot of arrests, especially during elections. Okay, so it was just that many politicians were using this as a tool, especially the person who has the power of the government, like a ruling party would use this as a tool to exercise like power on the opposite. Okay, on the opposite party. So this was very rampant, and that's the reason why this writ gained a lot of importance during the course of history. Now, recently we just I like the case which I found in the newspaper is that there is certain exceptions for this. Okay, one of the exception is that if any person is detained by the police because of his Gunda act, what we say Gundagiri or hooliganism, okay, or that person is threatening the police officer, or he's not following the rules, he's not following all that, he's doing Gundaism basically. Then if that person is detained, then there is an exception in habeas corpus where the person usually what happens in habeas arrest or detention as per criminal procedure code is that within 24 hours the person has to be produced in front of the magistrate. There's a rule for that. But in case of this, especially a person who goes under the Gunda Act, then there is an exception where up to maximum of 12 months they can detain the person. So the act says that, and this act, whatever I'm quoting, is relevant to Karnataka. So basically there's a act in Karnataka. This Gunda Act is not like a blanket term. Every state has its own acts, okay, and in Karnataka it is the Karnataka Prevention of Dangerous Activities of Bootleggers, Drug Offenders, Gamblers, Gundas, Immoral Traffic Offenders, Slum Grabbers, and Video and Audio Pirates Act 1985. So this is the act basically which I'm talking about today, because it's more relevant to the place of practice what I have. But you can also check the Gunda Act of your particular state. Every state has its own version of this act, and there is a lot of applicability of this act, and there are a lot of powers given to the state police, especially under this act. There's a reason why. See, if we say that a person was doing all this, like for example a drug offender, bootlegger, gambler, gunda and all those things, then the detention, sometimes they have to do something called as preventive detention. What is preventive detention? Preventive detention means usually what happens is arrest is like after the crime. Okay, preventive detention is if the police knows that person is going to commit a crime, he's going to commit a crime now, and for some reason they want to hold that person for that time, then in that case they are going to invoke this act and they're going to arrest. And this is only applicable to those persons who, there should be like a proper evidence. Okay, it's not like simply you can make anybody gunda and put them. No, there should be a proper information with the police and proper like evidence with the police that the person is really engaging in that kind of activities, that is gunda activities. In that case, the police can actually do a preventive detention for this. Preventive means they are going to stop him from committing the crime. He has not committed the crime yet. Okay, so they are going to stop him from committing. That's the reason why they say that don't get too much physical with police, right? Don't, because they have certain powers and it's needed. Okay, that's because they are the peacekeepers of the state, right? So it's needed that they are given certain powers for this. And then again, in this act, it's very detailed. They have made sure that the police don't exercise their power unnecessarily also. Okay. So that's another topic altogether, a big detailed topic. So another very important case law which happened in this particular scenario is Nabi Saab Makund Saab versus the state of Karnataka, which happened in the year 2015. So here what exactly happened is that the person who was convicted, that is Nabib Saab Makund Saab, he was arrested because of the certain activities which were done during that time and which was coming under the provisions of the Karnataka Prevention of Dangerous Activities of Bootleggers, Drug Offenders and Gamblers, Gunda, Traffic of Immoral Offenders, Slum Grabbers, etc. That act which I mentioned just before 1985 one. So the petition was basically filed on that reason only, saying that the detention was illegal, and they invoked the clause of habeas corpus. I mean, the writ, the constitutional remedy, what we are saying, the famous habeas corpus. They invoked that writ, and they told that that the detention is illegal and it should not be, it should not be entertained, and they wanted to get it quashed by the High Court and Supreme Court. But that order was actually upheld. They told that since that particular incident, which was coming under the provisions of this act, therefore the detention is not considered illegal. So one of the prime reason why this thing was the court upheld is that first things first, the person who was detained, he was a rowdy sheeter. Okay, so he rowdy sheeter means basically he did a certain activities which comes under the rowdy sheet. And in 2009 he had like a 13 cases on him regarding this particular activity, and that's the reason why he was a prime suspect. And especially when the Karnataka police have solid proof or solid information that this particular person is going to create problems, then they have every right to keep that person detained, because they want to ensure that there is public peace and there is like the environment is kept under control. So that's the reason why one of the main prime reasons, especially which comes in this, is especially if the person is already if that person is already a rowdy sheeter, or if the person has his name included in rowdy sheet, then in that case definitely there's going to be an issue with this. But this is not something which is applicable for any like normal civilians unless they have a solid proof or a solid inclination saying that there will be disruption of peace or disruption of the public harmony, or sometimes even this also, like where they say sedition charges, like if they are trying to do something like anti-national activities or provoking or abetting the other person to engage in this kind of hooliganism activities and all those things. So in fact now Karnataka police have even taken the cyber wing also under them, and now even this kind of hooliganism activities, even with on WhatsApp and public platforms, social platforms, are also included in the arena of this act. And that's one of the prime reasons because of which we need to know more about our law. And I don't want to go very in detail about this case law. See, it's available online, you can read it, and it's just that habeas corpus is not applicable, especially when it comes to the prevention activities undertaken by the police to maintain public harmony. And usually if a criminal is already listed in a rowdy sheet or already he has some pending cases, he is usual suspect. And the court will not give that much of leeway in case of these cases. So that being said, I hope you learned something new today, and if you have any questions or any queries, please feel free to put that in the comment box below. I'll definitely read it. I may not respond it, but I'm reading it, and thank you so much for all the love and affection what you're giving into me. And also give me ideas if you like this kind of content in the future, what kind of content you liked me to present, and those kind of feedbacks are also welcome. And hopefully you stay safe, stay legally safe, and in case of any issues or anything, please don't consider this as a legal advice or anything. This is like a legal awareness program where we are learning something new. It's more of an educational platform, not a substitute for the advocacy or any kind of legal advice or legal opinion which is given by a client and the advocate. It's not that. This should not be in lieu of that. And some people are like putting their case details and everything. So I really suggest that if you are in a hurry, if you want immediate answers, then please do consult any nearby advocate or any family advocate you have and try to get the answers done, because it will take a lot of time for me to get into all kind of technicalities in that. But definitely I'll see you again in my next video. Until then, bye, take care and stay safe.